Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm continuing my classic reviews of my top 10 favorite films of all time with my number 5 favorite film from my favorite directors, the Coen brothers, The Big Lebowski. And this is by far my favorite comedy of all time, and I laugh and can quote this film from start to finish so much, and I even quote this film on a regular basis. Even when somebody brings up an opinion I don't agree with, or they say something about my opinion, it's like, well, like, that's your opinion, man. That, just those little small things, and I love the fact, one thing that I love about the Coen brothers so much is they know how to create amazing characters. And a movie, a story, and different things about a film can be a little subpar, but if there's great characters, you're getting my attention. And that's why I enjoy every single Coen Brothers movie because of the characters. Some of them aren't the greatest, like the Lady Killers, but the characters are so outrageous and fun on some level that it's really enjoyable to watch. Now, this film is fantastic. And what the Coens are able to do, genre bending with this black comedy and this noir esque like private investigator crime story, is so interesting. Is like this the bum, the dude, is trying to solve a mystery, and he's going to all these different places, picking up evidence, trying to figure out sleuthing, and he's could be a private investigator. And I am so pushing for a sequel to this where I actually get to see more of him actually becoming a private investigator. I thought that would be actually hilarious and fantastic. But to talk about this film, what the Coens able to do with the story, people complain like, "Oh, this movie has no story." One of my biggest pet peeves is when people complain that this movie doesn't have a story. This film has a story. It's a basic, this woman's missing, trying to figure out where she went, and him dealing with all these different characters trying to bring things together, get evidence, and it's an intriguing mystery. And just happens to be surrounded with some outrageous characters, fantastic gags, and this movie is paced so well. It's just like, boom, 2 hours are up. It's like, I want to stay in this movie even longer and really get even more from these characters. And in terms of affections, like, you really feel for this character and you really connect well with the dude and Walter and Donnie and these characters that they're so charismatic, and there's so much great chemistry between this cast and these interactions that it's like you really feel connected with this world that's built in this film. And in terms of the writing, the story, as I mentioned, is an interesting story, and the characters are absolutely amazing. Even like the smallest of characters have some great moments. And can you not talk about the Jesus? The Jesus is ridiculous, and he's in it for like less than 5 minutes, but he's fantastic and steals the show. And the dialogue is so snappy and quotable from start to finish, and so many characters are so well realized. And I'll get to that more when I'm talking about the actual. I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about performances in this film because there's so many memorable performances in this film. And in terms of the themes of this film, it's thought provoking. It's like, what's the meaning of this? And all this madness. And we have a narrator who can help us figure that out. And I'll talk about the stranger in just a minute. But it's a thought provoking film, and it's like really tries to make you think about what you're supposed to get out of it. And that's a really interesting thing. And the cinematography, my favorite cinematographer ever, Roger Deakins. And that's why the Coen brothers have such amazing looking films. Roger Deakins is amazing. And what he is able to do with each shot that just says so much about a character, and these camera shots and how everything is framed just perfectly encompasses each character and each moment, and being able to, and the different like drug trips and dream sequences in this film are so interesting and bold and different. And who can forget gutter balls? That whole entire sequence is so much fun and so well shot, and just enthralling. It's just like, what's going on here? And that's the big thing about this film is you're so grabbed in by how absurd all of this is that you kind of wish that this kind of world, this situation actually existed, which is the craziest part about it. And the music, I own the soundtrack to this on vinyl because I absolutely love the soundtrack to this from his Creedence tapes. Creedence, one of my favorite bands ever. The use of looking out my back door as he's smoking a joint, driving his car, pounding on the roof, going down the street, or just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in from Kenny Rogers. That is so well utilized in that sequence of gutter balls. And who could forget Gypsy King's Spanish version of Hotel California, which is used so brilliantly to really encompass how much the dude hates the Jesus. Because mentions how much he hates the Eagles. How does the Jesus get introduced? To a Spanish version of an Eagles song. And just the use of that music is so inspired and well done, and that's what music should be in a film. Now to the performances. Jeff Bridges created one of the most entertaining, lovable losers in the history of film with the dude, and I could just watch the dude forever. But the real show stealer for me is John Goodman, and the fact that he didn't get an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for this is a travesty. Because and I mentioned in my Ben-Hur review, which you should check out, how much I love Charlton Heston and the gravitas and screen presence he has. Nobody nowadays can rival John Goodman with screen presence and what he's able to do on a flip of a dime. And his character Walter is so obnoxious but so wonderful, and the fact that he brings this character to life in such an amazing way and a powerful way is awe-inspiring. Steve Buscemi with one of his more mousier kind of pulled back roles with Donnie, who's just a lovable goofball, which contrasts so well with Walter, and their interactions back and forth is gold. The dialogue between these three characters is fantastic, and Donnie always out of his element and not knowing what's going on. Julianne Moore does a great job in this weird, very different role than I've seen her play anybody else with Big Lebowski, and she just brings such a feeling of pretentiousness to this character that it's just like, and in one of the sequences where the dude's just staring at her, and David Thewlis's character and his obnoxious laugh, just like, what the hell's going on here? Who are these people? And that's the thing, you get to feel that a lot because of the fantastic job that Jeff Bridges does in his performance in conveying all these things. David Huddleston, who's one of the smaller names for this film, who plays Jeffrey Lebowski, the Big Lebowski, and he's just so obnoxious and such a jerk, and he does it in such a fantastic way, condescending way. Philip Seymour Hoffman as Brent is so slimy and just obnoxious. You kind of just want to slap him because he's such a brown noser, but he does such a great job in this film. And then some of the smaller characters, like Sam Elliott as the stranger, is a wonderful narrator, really sets the tone for this film, and those sequences that he has with the dudes, like the dude abides, just like in that Sam Elliott voice, is just perfect. Peter Stonemeyer as Uli, just ridiculous. I'm sure he loves playing characters in Coen Brothers films because he just goes crazy. And then John Turturro as the Jesus, one of the most obnoxious, ridiculous things ever, and he just shows up and is one of the most unbelievably memorable characters of this whole movie and barely is in it, and he just really steals it. And this film is so enjoyable, so much fun. This is the definition of a fun film, and I love The Big Lebowski, and I could watch it literally every day, and that is why I give The Big Lebowski, my number 5 favorite film of all time, an A+.